Well, hi everyone. So I want to welcome you to Vermont Sun and Shade. So we have a little bit sun today, and I want to share it with you. And it's on hiking. Now the subject is pretty much about why do people get lost? How do they get lost? How many people have gotten lost? And we're going to review an awesome article right here. And this is by Ryan Dotson, and it's called Statistics of Getting Lost and Found. And this is based on June 30th, 2023. So I've read this article a little bit already, but so I'm going to skip right down here to how often does this really happen? And he says right off the bat that a study done by Yosemite National Forest Search and Rescue showed that 4,661 people were lost in the woods and required assistance. Now, that equates to about 13 people a day, and nationwide, it was an estimated 50,000 people that needed search and rescue. And it's because it is so easy to get turned around. I mean, it really is. It happened to me. I had property on my property, and that I knew the parameters, I knew it well, and I heard a bear. So I thought I was running straight down to my house. I ended up half a mile up the hill. So I'm just saying, you do get turned around. You just do. I don't know what that phenomenon is, but so who gets lost? There are a wide variety of people who head into the wilderness for recreation. I mean, we go there to have fun. However, the statistics show that very specific group of people are more common to get lost. The activities with the highest rate of lost people are 48% of the hikers, 21% of boaters. Most campers and other day trippers have specific site in mind for visiting. However, the hikers often intend to either follow the trail with no particular destination, so they could go off the trail and they rely on their navigational skills. You think you're not going to go too far off the trail, and all of a sudden you can't find the trail. So, demographics that are most likely to get lost are men between 20 and 25, and men and men. It just kind of took me by surprise. Are men ages 20 to 25 and men ages 50 to 60. We can easily say that this is because there are more demographics that spend most of the time in the wilderness. That they're in the wilderness, they're looking at statistics. However, you could say that this age group could be most likely overconfident to get or to get confused. So when do people get lost? So we can look at the timing of these incidents to see when people are more likely to get lost. If we look at the time of day, hikers usually depart around 2 to 3 p.m. on the weekends are the most likely to get lost. Weekend hikers are often less experienced than those that make time to do some wilderness hiking during the week. In addition, those heading out at around 2 or 3 are leaving early. Yeah, so they're going to hit nighttime really quickly. And however, getting lost for even an hour or two can leave them stumbling around in the dark. Just through September are the most dangerous June through September are the most dangerous months by a number of people lost. Novice hikers often don't go into the late fall, winter, and spring to avoid inclement weather. Seasoned hikers are more likely to hike year round. However, by percentage, February and March are the most dangerous months. There's often little foliage on the trees, which makes it easy to get turned around. And in addition, you're often still affected by the rain and the cold, and the shorter days provide a very limited window of daylight. Now, why do people get lost? So, there's a wide variety of reasons. So, number one here, it says 9% lost trail accidentally. They lost the trail accidentally for some reason. Just like when I heard the bear, I thought I was running towards my house. I wasn't even close. So, something like that could very well happen when you're on a trail. You could come face to face with a bear and you do an about face. So 7% failure to communicate plan effectively. So Interesting. 4% miscalculate time or distance. 0% darkness. 6% left the trail intentionally. 6% insufficient information, error in judgment. 2% snow on the ground, 7% walk wrong trail taken, 2% fatigue and physical condition. I would think that would be a higher amount, but they're not saying. 8% a steep trail, 4% emotionally upset for some reason, 9% ground level fall. Okay, so interesting. Hopefully, this breakdown can show you some primary pitfalls that need to be avoided. Most importantly, you need to pay attention to your trail, plan effectively, and know your area. Now, in addition, it should be noted that the average lost individual was found 1.8 kilometers from their starting point. That is less than a mile. On average, they were found only 58 meters from the nearest trail or road. It obviously doesn't take much for a hiker, or for anyone, to get turned around in the wilderness. Who was found and how? So thankfully, we have incredible staff for search and rescue teams as part of the United States Forest Service. Of those for which a search party was sent out, 40% were found by the search and rescue. The average search, it's at 40%, so that leaves 60% not found. The average search takes about 10 hours to find the individual. And think about that. And they find most of these people within a mile of where or about a mile or so where they set off. So an average search takes about 10 hours to find the individual, and on average, they have been missing for about 14 hours. The downside is that these efforts cost $5.1 million. So, here they go putting a price tag. Okay, I get it to a point. Yes, we need to be more responsible and knowledgeable about what we're doing, where we're going, when we're going, and how we're communicating. Each day that a search team must be deployed costs around $32,000. Now, I know a lot of these people are volunteers, so they're also paying for programs to train the volunteers. So in addition to those found by search and rescue, there's a good number of those individuals that attempt to reorient themselves. They do so in a variety of ways. 42% attempted route traveling by following the trails, roads, streams, intending to find civilization. 26% stayed in their current location and waited for rescue. Now, it doesn't say if that's a really good idea or not. I've always been taught um, that if you get lost, and I've been taught to follow the light of the moon and the water. So 16% backtracked, but I guess it depends where you are, what the situation is, what the terrain is like, all of that. 16% backtracked to retrace their steps in hopes of recognizing a familiar feature in the landscape. I would love to know if anyone out there, if you've gotten lost, what did you do to correct your situation and get to a safer place? So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Just kind of, well, I'm going to put that up, I guess. Fatalities. The sad part of this whole discussion are the statistics of those who don't make it. In just Yosemite alone, 158 people per year from being unalived, you can't say this word on YouTube, from unalived from being lost in the wilderness. So that is 3.3% of those that are reported lost. So of those that don't make it out alive, the vast majority are hikers. An additional 1,396 of those lost in Yosemite are found injured. So you got to count on that. That could happen. These numbers could be much higher if it weren't for the help of the Forest Service to find these people in need. So that is one article that's by Survival Dispatch. Now, this one by the hiking U.S. Forest Service is I like this a lot. It's not super long, but it talks to us about being responsible. So, hiking is a wonderful way to see and experience many wonders of the forest. Visit the Forest Rangers District office, and there's a click for all the maps, the National Forest Store to obtain a trail map to help you plan your route. So, responsible recreation is being prepared includes knowing how to be responsible. Now, they, like I said, they do have um, uh, training courses on these. So you can Google that and find those. So stay on the marked trails. So, I believe people totally intend to stay on the marked trails. And I believe something might happen. Like maybe it begins to pour rain and they go sit under a tree. Or they're a little bit frightened, maybe by a hiker, another hiker, maybe something like that. Or they meet an animal on the trail, but they're saying, primarily stay on the marked trails. Don't hike alone. Let the slowest person in your party set the pace. This is especially important when children are part of a group. Leave your itinerary with a friend, a family member, and that's such a good idea. So many of these hikers that we've heard in the news this past year, they didn't even say they were leaving. They just went because they thought they were going for a short amount of time. So leave your itinerary with a friend or family member and check in with them upon return. Develop an emergency plan before you start your trip. Make sure everyone knows what to do if they become lost or there's a medical emergency. Give children whistles with the instructions to stop and blow if they become lost. This is super important. Stop. They need to stop because the more they wander, the more you're having difficulty finding them. Take frequent rests or vary your pace to maintain your energy level. Drink plenty of water, even on cool, wet days. Never drink your entire supply between refills. Wear appropriate clothing, including sturdy boots that are broken in and comfortable. Consider using a hiking pole or walking stick to help maintain your balance on the unlevel or the hazardous areas. Be aware of your surroundings and pre plan your approach before hiking through these difficult, hazardous areas. Wet surfaces can be, yeah, you can slip and fall in a heartbeat. They can be a hazard, and even more so on a slope. Consider what you do if you start to slide or fall so that you're prepared. If falling, do not try to catch yourself. Try to avoid landing on your hands, elbows, and knees. Landing on the side of your body is much safer. If the slope is such that you know you are going to slide, lowering the center of gravity by sitting down and sliding on your bottom. That's mine. I've done that so many times. It's I just hit the ground. It's safer. If sliding while standing up, keep your weight over your feet and bend your knees. Do not lean or back or forward when sliding. Now, if on a day hike, extra weight wears you down and reduces your agility and over uneven terrain. So pack as light as you can, leave the extras behind, but consider bringing these essentials: a map, sunglasses and hat, sunscreen, a flashlight, bring that flashlight, waterproof matches, a first aid kit, water and water purifying tablets, high energy bars, granola, candy, fruit, and extra clothing um, in case the temperature changes dramatically. Let's say you do get lost. For every 1,000 feet of elevation gain, the temperature often drops. So that's very good. I'm going to reiterate it again. I think training with, like, if you have a mentor, hiker friend who has done this for many years, ask if you can go with them. And they're probably more than happy to help train you. 8 common reasons hikers get lost. unprepared for the walk. So, spontaneity is fun, but when it comes to the wilderness adventures and the planning is essential. Research the trail, using official sources, length, difficulty, terrain, and the weather patterns. Understand your route. In some states, we're here in Vermont, and I was reading somewhere, somebody was saying, oh, the Appalachian Trail or the Long Trail is for everyone. I totally disagree with that. Um, if you're going to make it short, go in a little bit and come out, and stay on the trail. But I don't agree that it's for everyone. So yeah, know your trail. Understand the route, estimate the travel times, and factor in the potential delays. Leaving your itinerary with someone back home, as we just discussed in the last article, is super duper important. Over reliance on technology. This is another reason people get lost. They're glued to their phones. We've heard many articles. I'm going to go over one of those too, because people looking at their phones and they're falling off the cliff, and it's so sad. It has happened a few times now. But getting lost. So you're glued to your phones, you're relying solely on GPS. Oh, we know. Totally. Just driving up the street and looking at what I know about the directions and what GPS says. Yeah. So solely on GPS, or the battery has died out in the bush and can be disastrous. Invest in a good map, a compass, and learn how to use them. Misjudging time and difficulty. Trails can be deceptively long, especially when you're lost in the moment. Don't underestimate the time required. Factor in breaks, photo ops, and potential obstacles like fallen trees, swollen streams. This is a really good one to know, especially in Alaska. Oh yeah, those streams, there may be no stream, and then all of a sudden it's right up there, and you can't even get back to where you started. You can't get back. And if the season is changed. So remember, daylight is your friend, and in the wilderness, start early and adjust your pace to ensure you're back before dusk. Carry a torch on every single hike just in case. And it's better to have one and not need than to have one and become stranded in the dark. Lack of skill or physical ability, this is where we really need to swallow our pride. Now, I'm going to say, because it's so many years that I've gone hiking, if I went on a hike now I do trekking around town. I consider that my hike. But if I went into the woods, I would want to be with a group, or I would go very short distance in and come back out. That is how I would do it today. There's no way I'm going to go miles into the woods at this point, because I'm out of experience, right? Not all trails are created equal. Choose a hike that matches your skill and your fitness level. Don't try to tackle an advanced trail if you're a beginner. I would consider myself a beginner again at this point, because I don't know. Well, I have a good idea what my physical level is, and believe me, it's not much at this point. Pushing beyond your limits can lead to fatigue, poor decision making, and eventually getting lost. So be honest with yourself. It's okay, and it's wiser. You think of yourself as a really wise person for realizing that maybe you're not at that level as you'd like to be, and then just work towards it. So people get lost because of lack of navigation skills. Think the map and compass. Don't leave your home without them, even with technology. Knowing how to navigate using traditional methods can get you out of a sticky situation if your phone conks out. Learn the basic map symbols, and practice triangulation. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you feel disoriented. Poor leadership in your groups. If you're venturing out in a group, designate a leader. This person isn't meant to tell everyone what to do, but someone is responsible for making informed decisions, keeping everyone on track, and checking on group morale. Remember, a confused herd isn't easily lost. So I'm just going to add this, that if you have a group leader, I would assume this group leader is very experienced and, yes, sensitive to the needs of their members of their group. Unaware of terrain hazards. This is another reason that people get lost. The beauty of the wilderness can be deceiving. The cliffs, rivers, slopes, the hidden obstacles can lurk around every bend, and be aware of your surroundings. Stick to the trails. It's the same thing for our gorges and our water holes up here in Vermont. In the winter, the ground shifts. Old Vermonters know that. Some people don't know that, and they may jump in. They're like, "Oh, I went in this last year," and they jump in before the signs are up, and everything's been approved and okay, and they hit a swirl pool at the bottom of the not good. So a moment of recklessness can turn into a major injury or worse. Respect the power of nature and prioritize safety over adrenaline rushes. Amen to that. Entering restricted areas, curiosity is a human trait, but in the bush, it can lead you to dangerous paths. Stay out of closed areas. Respect the barriers and never attempt unauthorized shortcuts. And remember, restricted zones exist for a reason, often to protect you from the unseen dangers. Look, there could be quicksand or really muddy, swampy area. I'm going to tell you, there are bogs every now and then in these woods. And that's another reason, if you get lost in the dark, stay where you are. In my opinion, get the campfire going, have the torch on, do what you need to do to be safe. Because, yeah, you can get turned around and you can end up in unseen dangers. Explore responsibly and leave no trace but footprints. Okay, so anyway, these are the few reasons. Oh, it says, but wait, there's more. In addition to everything that they said above, SAR, which means search and rescue, reveals some surprising truths about getting lost in nature. It's often not just about getting turned around, it's about being unprepared for the unexpected. So here's some of the unexpected, I guess. Poor equipment, failure of equipment or inappropriate equipment for the area, lack of food and water, which contribute to fatigue and poor decision making, experiencing hypothermia, hyperthermia, dehydration, and heat exhaustion, unexpected change in weather conditions, fatigue leading to you notice how many times they're mentioning fatigue and heat or poor decisions or injury. So your body, you want to pace yourself. If you start feeling not good, maybe you want to turn around and go home. You know what I'm saying? Poor physical health, medical emergencies resulting from a pre-existing condition. So I think we covered everything here. Yes. So I hope that you enjoyed this. And so I hope that you have a safe hiking experience. And we're gonna go over the Appalachian Trail website because they have some really awesome um, training and some awesome information over there too. So that will be the next video. And with that, you have a beautiful day.